I'm meteorologist Emily Gracey from ABC News 4. Hurricane season is right around the corner, and the best way to be prepared is to be educated. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about how hurricanes form and how we rate hurricanes as well, kind of get an inside view from a meteorologist here as we approach that season. So let's start with how hurricanes form. Well, basically, it just starts out over the ocean as unstable air that's rising. Rising air cools with height, and as it cools, it condenses. When it condenses, it creates clouds. Now, as long as it keeps condensing and keeps rising, those clouds are going to continue to get that vertical motion, meaning they're going up. And that's going to create thunderstorm activity, more instability, and it's just going to keep strengthening. So it basically just begins with a little cloud. But we have a lot of elements we need to create a hurricane, to create a tropical system. One of those is that moist layer at 1,500 feet up in the atmosphere. So once you get that moist layer, that is one of those elements in place. Another element that we need is very low wind shear. What that means is winds that don't really change direction with height. So if we have low wind shear along with that moist upper level layer, and then combine that with warm ocean water, all of those things combined do create that conducive environment for tropical activity. So water temperatures in the 80s is going to really create that chance of tropical development. So it starts as a tropical depression. That's when we start tracking it out there over the water. It's organized clouds and thunderstorms, but doesn't really have that circulation quite yet. It's just starting to get that. But the winds, they're less than 38 miles per hour. After that, it continues to strengthen. It becomes a tropical storm. That's when those winds get up over 39 miles per hour. That's when we name them as well. If it continues to strengthen, all those elements are still in place, it could become a hurricane, meaning those winds could be upwards of 74 miles per hour or greater. They go much higher than that. So we're talking hurricanes that could become much more dangerous than just that Category 1. And we rate these on what we call the Saffir-Simpson scale. So a Category 1 hurricane certainly can do some damage. Those winds anywhere from 75 to 95 miles per hour. So we're continuing to see those winds pummel the shore. We've got storm surge. We've got all these impacts being felt for folks on shore. And then Category 2, those winds are really going to start to cause some damage. So extensive damage to trees, to property. And from there, if it becomes a Category 3, it's then a major hurricane. That's when we really start to worry about life safety and property safety. Those winds could come upwards of 129 miles per hour. A Category 4 hurricane, some of your parents may remember Hurricane Hugo did extensive damage here across the Lowcountry. So the winds upwards of 156 miles per hour. Beyond that, we could get into Category 5 status. We saw several of those last year and over the past few years. A Category 5 is something that could do complete damage to an area, completely wipe out land and leave nothing behind. So that's a little background there on hurricanes. Be prepared for this season and you can stay safe from those storms.
Thank you to Emily Gracey for teaching us so much about hurricanes. Now we are going to show you some activities you can do at home to make your own mini hurricane swirls. I'm Sally, a children's librarian at the main library.
And I'm Molly, a young adult librarian at the main library. As Miss Gracey explained, we need 3 things to make a hurricane.
Warm ocean water,
Moist, humid clouds that create thunderstorm conditions,
and wind that is moving in the same direction and at the same speed. Let's get started with our activity.
When we're doing our activity, we need to create a swirl going counterclockwise because winds move counterclockwise north of the equator. Winds move clockwise south of the equator and create tropical storms called cyclones. So to recreate a hurricane at home, we need a large bowl, water, a spoon, and food coloring. This is our warm ocean water. And we move our spoon in a counterclockwise direction. You can go as fast as you can here. Then we drop in the food coloring to see that the water is moving faster at the center and is darker in color.
It's also the strongest at the center where it's darker. The food coloring moving away from the eye of the storm is lighter in color and is making spiral rain bands. That's where the storm is weaker around the edge. Typically, hurricanes are 300 miles across. They can last for days and move slowly. We'd love to see how you make your own hurricane in a bowl at home.
So now we're going to do a similar hurricane activity, but this time we're going to do it big. We have a baby pool and water, and we're also going to add clouds that are made of shaving cream. So this will look like what you see on the Weather Channel, or what hurricanes look like from space.
This activity can get a little messy, and you may need to use your imagination to really make the shaving cream into clouds, like on a satellite image. Let's get started. We're going to do a swirl with our spoon just like before. Remember our counterclockwise motion. Put some strength into it. And now it's time for our shaving cream. Oh yes, swirl it all around. And we need more force from our swirling warm waters. Look at those clouds. They're starting to come together in the middle. Let's give it another stir.
Here we can see our spiral rain bands around the outside.
These activities are great opportunities to talk to your family about getting prepared for hurricane season.
For local hurricane information, visit our Hurricane Safety Center at ccpl.org and visit ready.gov for safety information for all ages.
Stay safe out there, everyone.